Truth to Adam22. He's out here. People are getting mad at him right now. They're like, Adam is on his culture vulture shit. Always as usual. How could he interview Pop Smoke's killer? He's just... We need to get rid of Adam22. This is the whole sentiment that everybody's been saying. Let me see if I can find this guy. Blockstar. Found it.
Coolest podcast in the world. And today we're bringing you guys one of the...
Let's get to some timestamps. Okay, right here.
Y'all were up to in that moment, whether it was a robbery or if there was somebody that basically paid y'all to go do something. How would you describe what was going on that night? Maybe even just like take us through the day if you want.
Well, I'm not finna get into detail about too much, but it was a robbery. Nobody did none of that. That's all false information. It's a lot of pages that's like giving out false information. YouTube's like the vlog, false. Like they don't know none. Y'all don't know nothing y'all talking about. Y'all just assuming and y'all just putting shit together as y'all going around. Like, and then like the way they bring up the situation and they can be saying like rest in peace to them, they be disrespectful themselves. They be like,
sorry gang, let me rewind that.
Nobody did none of that. That's all false information. It's a lot of pages that's like...
Y'all were up to in that moment, whether it was a robbery or if there was somebody that basically paid y'all to go do something. How would you describe what was going on that night? Maybe even just like take us through the day if you want.
Well, I'm not finna get into detail about too much, but it was a robbery. Nobody did none of that. That's all false information. It's a lot of pages that's like giving out false information. YouTube's like the vlog, false. Like they don't know none. Y'all don't know nothing y'all talking about. Y'all just assuming and y'all just putting shit together as y'all going around. Like, and then like the way they bring up the situation and they can be saying like rest in peace to them, they be disrespectful themselves. They be like I don't know. I just feel like if that was my boy and they're posting them and speaking on a situation like that, like I feel like you my out too.
What's the disrespectful part?
I just put up a poll right now asking you guys, was Adam wrong for interviewing Blockstar? Okay, this is this gentleman right here. Obviously he's the one who's, I don't know if he's exactly the trigger man, but he's one of the four men that were responsible for the passing of Pop Smoke. Okay, now he's home. There's been a lot of people I've been seeing videos on YouTube. Adam22, you know, how could he do this? I seen academics comment on it, and I can't completely agree with what everybody's saying with this. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of people who they move the goalpost when it comes to Adam22. Okay, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander when it comes to Adam22. So I'll tell you guys exactly what I mean. So yes, he interviewed this person who's a convicted murderer. Obviously, this kid was able to come home early. He mentioned at some point in the interview that he did feel that they did take it a little light on him. So let me play it right here. Right here. Good thing they have timestamps.
You'll probably never see light again.
Even as a 15-year-old, they told you that right away.
At 16.
16.
Well, I was 17 because they arrested me right after my birthday. So from hearing that, like that right there just broke me. Like never coming home. And I'm just like, it's what it is. Like, I can't do shit about it no more.
How many days later did it take for you to get arrested? Because what they said, it was anonymous tips from New York.
It was a minute. They took a minute.
Yeah, nobody who knew who did it for like months after it happened, right?
5-6 months.
That's crazy and intriguing. This is an intriguing story. Okay. Giving him a platform is crazy, Juicy Hamburger says. Maybe? I'll get to it in a minute. Because y'all might be mad at me for certain people who I've platformed. I don't know.
For a minute.
And when you were thinking you got away with it?
I didn't think I got away with it. I was up like every day, like looking out my window, like every time I hear sirens, I'll wake up on my sleep and look outside the window. Like, I never thought I got away with it. I got too comfortable, yeah.
What do you mean by too comfortable?
I just allowed myself to, the way I was moving, I allowed myself, basically, like, I had my phone on me, the same, like, I should have got rid of that phone. I'm just being young, like, man, like, police ain't know what they talking about. Niggas ain't got shit on me. I mean, like, feel me, but outside in the back of my mind, like, fuck, like, they probably got something, but they still ain't have nothing. Like, when I was up in there, they have nothing on me. Nothing.
And so are you just like sitting around the house, kind of hiding out a little bit, and you're looking at social media, and I'm sure you're like realizing how much this meant to so many people?
I woke up. I said woke up. I didn't even wake up. I had to go to school the next morning. I go to school the next morning. I step into my classroom. The teacher put it right there on the big screen.
That's crazy. These killers be going to school the next morning. Okay, and I'm not trying to say alleged or anything. The nigga got convicted for this shit. All right? They be going to school the next morning. This interview had to happen. And I'm not saying, you know, if Adam don't do it, somebody else gonna do it. But I am saying that. Who knows? I wouldn't have had the money to pay him because I'm sure he probably wanted over 10 racks for this. But I'm sure that somebody else had that money waiting for him, and he probably has another interview on the way. Okay? I'm going to have to give a little pushback to everybody trying to call Adam the super culture vulture for interviewing this young man. And I'll tell you why. I work in the media. I've interviewed a multitude of people that people consider heinous characters. Okay? I can pull up some interviews right now. Let's do this. All right, Lamar Ammo Skeet. I had this interview in 4 parts. You can see the 4 parts right down here. Threw a disclaimer on it. All right, you can see it on the screen. Now, the reason that I did all of this is because there was lives that were lost of why this young man is in jail. You know, it was like, this case is very complicated with Lamar Ammo Skeet because he's an innocent man, and you know, he stands on his innocence. Since 2008, he's been standing on him being innocent of the murder of Kenneth Marks. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that Kenneth Marks is not here anymore. And, you know, interviewing this young man, it pushed a lot of buttons for people who have love for Kenneth Marks.
Phone, I heard about a raid that happened on in a 12 division called Project Horseshoe.
I remember that.
And somebody told me somebody else got charged for the attempt murder of Kenneth Marks. So I jumped on the phone right away, called my lawyer. I said, Timothy Breen, I just heard somebody got charged for the attempted murder of Kenneth Marks. That's big news to me. And that's when he told me that his occupation was only to argue the judge's error in trial. He had.
Okay, so that's one example. I just want to know if everybody gets the same energy as ADAM22. Let's pull up another example. Tyshawn Riley.
Gangs rule the territory, and the so-called Galloway boys have owned these parts for a long time.
As people from Malvern, a longtime rival gang.
This is Tyshawn Riley.
Malvern gang members were also rounded up by police.
Did I put a trigger warning in the beginning of this?
Gangs rule the territory, and the so-called Galloway boys have owned these parts for a long time.
5 people from Malvern, a longtime rival gang.
This is Tyshawn Riley.
Malvern gang members were also rounded up by police.
Trigger warning. This video mentions past events discussing alleged gang activities and violence. So do I get the same energy as ADAM22? I'm not even going to go with the Vlad interviews all these gangsters. He white too. So everybody's going to be like, oh, well, you know, Vlad's a culture vulture. So what do you expect? Birds of a feather flock together. But am I wrong too?
His house with a man named Johnson, himself, and a man named Tatham. So he walks over there now. And when he walks over there now, he sees Burns at the house. And Burns is there too. Now, let me give you a fun fact of how to catch a liar and actually do the right thing when you catch a liar.
Mm-hmm.
So
keep in mind, this gentleman has been convicted to 100 years. Also claiming his innocence. However, you know, the history of the Malvern gang and the Galloway boys and all that stuff goes very deep in this city. I did get some people that hit me up and were like, yo, I don't like the fact that you interviewed this guy. But public backlash? Nah. And as well as the view counts don't reflect that people were upset at this interview right here. I actually got a lot of people who hit me up that were like, great job.
Question, Ty, like, is this the first time that any of this information has been put out there publicly, that like what was happening in the courtroom?
on my side, they write anything in paper. Mr. Riley is this, Mr. Riley is that. He's a bad man. He does this, he does that. They could tell you everything on paper. You could paint a picture a million different ways, right? But now you're hearing from me because I sat here and I went through the system way. Okay, I got railroaded at trial. Okay, let me have faith in the appeal because they have to see the truth.
They were saying that the Galloway boys, and this is just what the media was saying, that they were killing innocents. Just pulling up in Malvern, just letting off shots just because people are walking the street being from Malvern. Okay? I don't know how much of that is media sensationalization. However, it's some heinous shit. I never got, and don't get me wrong, I'm not even close to as popping as ADAM22. But for Toronto, I never got no backlash for this interview. I'll keep going. Mark Moore, Toronto. I don't even need to go to the channel. I know that his interview gonna pop up somewhere. Mark Moore. My bad. I did a documentary piece on this gentleman a while back. It's one of our highest viewed pieces of content, not being an interview. To get a conversation going on with him right now. So with no further ado, we have El Presidente, aka Mark Moore, in the building.
Hey, hold on. Slow down. You see all this bullshit? That's another thing too. Who's El Presidente? Like, yo, whatever like the L-E-L Presidente ever come into effect with my name. I was never ever El Presidente. So like, you look at my CD, look at my name, look at my actual name, you see my name, who I am, Presidente.
Right, Presidente. Convicted for 4 murders in the space of a month and a half. Right? The title of the video that I made was Real Toronto Serial Killer. So this is definitely somebody who's been convicted of some heinous crimes. I didn't get the same energy. You know, there was people in the comments who were dissing him because they have whatever issue that they have with him. But as far as the energy of, why did you interview this guy? Friday, why are you platforming murderers? You're a culture vulture. Ray Tay. I got none of that energy. Okay, straight up. So when I see this interview,
Big screen,
and then people giving this, oh, well, typical Adam. This is what the culture vultures do. Am I a culture vulture too? I'm just asking.
I was like 10th grade, 11th, 10th, yeah, 10th.
And the teacher's talking about it.
Teachers talking about
So
it.
literally the next day after
So he's not supposed to interview this guy. Let me ask y'all. Neem said, man, Friday, let me put this up on the screen. Man, Friday, you haven't been in jail in a long time, brother. They have certain days for population, certain days for PC. For real? QX-File sounds, that's crazy. I didn't know that. They split these niggas up on certain days now. He's circling back to the whole top 5 thing quick fast. I'll say this. When I was in the Dawn, because I was in the Dawn when I was doing my provincial time, when I was waiting my trial. The way they had it, when you're here, you're in the general pop, and it's a big area. There's the booth in the middle for the guardian and stuff like that. And then you can see like a little window on the side. Like I'm talking about the window, just it looked like they could only fit like 2 people in their tops. And that's where the PCs are. Same thing with video court. You're all in, like we're all in one range sitting, and then we could literally see through the window to another area, and that's where all the PCs are sitting. Which now in hindsight, now that you're mentioning this, we're getting super sidetracked. Now that you're mentioning this, that's crazy when I really think about it in hindsight. Because literally we can see who the PCs are. Laugh at them, yo, this nigga's in PC. Sometimes niggas would tell me like, yo, this guy that you see over there, he's a real bad man still, but he's over there on the PC side. It's like, for real? Yeah. Nigga got like 2 bodies, but like he's a PC. And that would boggle my mind. I'd be like, holy shit. Like looking at them like as if they're in like some kind of a fishbowl or something. So I didn't know that now they separate the 2. Okay. I just, quick sidetrack. Anywho, Danny P, or Danny Pluto says, as much as I can get mixy in Toronto, we love the ability to tell stories and platform the shine light on folks. Listen, man, I can say, well, I'm not going to interview any of these guys anymore because based on the results on the views, the comments, different things like that, people are very upset, and it's not even just worth my time or money. All right, as far as just like the time that I put into editing and all that type of shit. But it don't say that. Anytime I've interviewed somebody who's been arrested for something heinous, if it's an M, guaranteed an extra 10K views. But I could even go to people who weren't arrested, don't have murders, and the view counts are crazy. So is it Adam's fault, or is it the audience's fault for even loving this type shit? If I go to my popular interviews and segments, with the exception of a few people, all these niggas have heinous crimes. K-Money and Casper are at the top because they got pretty much the most views. Okay? We don't have to talk about the car chase. YG just came off of being on the run. Burner Bands is in jail. R.I.P. to Houdini. Bizloke is in jail. Pressa had some heinous accusations and charges on him at one point in time. Okay, I remember having to recite it when I did the Before They Were Famous piece with Mike McCrudden. I was like, you say that line. I'm not saying that part, bro. His brother Bundog. Boondog was like gone for 10 years. There's others that Tizzy Stacks. Who else, man? Like I can go on and on for people who, if people were to look at those interviews, they'd be like, yo, how you interview these niggas? You're a culture vulture. You're interviewing violent people. People they've hurt people. Disclaimers. Look at this. I have to write this shit. But I don't get any of the same energy that ADAM22 gets. Not even close. I have never been called a culture vulture. And obviously, I'm black. But there's black culture vultures too. We're not going to act like there ain't no black culture vultures. Come on now.
No, that's not. No,
I know. I'm not.
We ain't going to play dumb, right?
If you were rapping in dungeons, you were not.
Sam G. I never interviewed Sam G yet.
All right, let's get this on. Let's do it.
Yeah. Right. Like I've interviewed a lot of people, and I don't like bringing up this gentleman, but like he's currently away for some heinous shit with a playground and shit, like shooting in a playground. Like I said, y'all can have the same. If y'all have this energy for ADAM22 and RIP to Pop Smoke, let's not take that off the table. RIP to Pop Smoke
was killed.
Okay, I understand that Pop Smoke was a beloved figure, especially in New York City. The drill scene, basically had a hole inside of it, and has never been the same since Pop Smoke's been gone. Okay, so we can have our allegiance and have our love because we love this person's music. But if this person passes away, and now his killers are out there and they're doing interviews, as journalists, somebody's going to interview them. And you can't be picking and choosing, oh, well, Adam, how could you platform this person? You're a culture vulture. But then you don't go over to Vlad and say the same thing. You say the same thing until you want to see the person that he's interviewing. Y'all call Vlad a culture vulture all day until you're like, oh, he got so-and-so? Oh, let me tap in. Right? He interviews the nigga from the East Siders all the time. Gang, give me the name of the nigga from the East Sider. Trady. Trady was a gangbanger. He did a lot of shit. He's obviously on the other side of his life now. He's not in any of that type of shit now. But I'm sure Trady has done some heinous things. Nobody gets mad when you see the Trady interview. Y'all got to stop picking and choosing, man. That's all I'm saying. Salute to ADAM22. Okay. I don't know if it's the most favorable take, and I really don't care. But I'm not mad at him for interviewing this guy. Right now, No Jumper's on a run. Between this interview, that I guess in 5 days, 569,000 is cool. It's probably going to hit 1 million. This and the Kodak Black interview, Adam's on fire right now. Keep going, bro. Keep doing your thing, man. I ain't a hater.
We love hip hop.